Welcome to the Temple of Flame. On today, Faith Blacklights, we take a look at this. And what this is from Heatonist. It is the Hellfire Club. Ouch, ouch. Now, this of course is a very 80s throwback. Because of course it belongs to the Stranger Things show, the Hellfire Club. I forget which season this is in. And the show itself is a vague recreation of certain 80s things. It's not meant to be a documentary. It's not meant to be super one-to-one to the 80s. It's just supposed to reference it generally, I think. Which it does fine. As the episodes in the seasons and the later seasons get longer, I personally find myself less interested in the show. But I don't know if season 5 is out or not yet. They did also have a Stranger Things crossover with some pizza rolls. That is in the Everything Else playlist. You can check that out if you're interested. But let's see what we have here for copy. Nothing. Okay. So, I don't know who's making this. I don't think Heatonist actually produces their own sauces. Let's take a look at what's in it, shall we? Mango. So mango hot sauce would not have been a thing in the 80s. I don't know what the reference to Hellfire is. Water, yellow Scotch bonnet peppers. Those were around, but very, very difficult to get. Particularly the closer you got to Canada back in the 80s. White vinegar, yellow bell pepper, lime juice, mustard powder, sugar, turmeric, salt, powdered ginger. So, a very eclectic choice of ingredients for this. You can see it does look very, 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 oh so very mustardy. All right, let's take a look at it and yield white spoon after we first get it out of the neck. You can see we got a little bit that just refuses to budge, but that's fine. It can stay there. I'm not overly bothered by that. You can see it's fairly thick. It reminds me a little bit actually of the school mustard. So the school I went to, the mustard was not the smooth prepared stuff like Plockman's or French's. French's, those two are pretty interchangeable. I thought French's was a bit smoother. Plockman's was a little bit more abrasive, but those two were they were very fine. Whatever industrial sludge that they had at the school I went to, it was almost sort of grainy, and it just had this very, very foul taste to it. The way that this pours reminds me a little bit of how slow the mustard would pour of that stuff. Although this is actually closer to like a French's or a Plockman's, just based on how smooth it is. So obviously, mangoes in hot sauces were not a thing. In fact, mangoes, I didn't even have I had to leave this state. I had to leave the state where I spent the first 20 odd years of my life before I ever had a mango. So again, closer to Canada, less likely you were to encounter those. Anyway, I mean, it looks like a must. It's not the bright, vibrant yellow actually of those other two. This is kind of between those two sauces. It's got kind of it's not quite an off color, but it's not super yellowish either. Well, let's give it a whack and see what we have. There's a slight sweetness. There's a lot of bitterness to this. This is a very overly bittery sauce. And the flavor combination of turmeric, mustard, and powdered ginger. Mango is gone. There's no mango flavor to this, despite that being the first ingredient. I think they were going for a Caribbean vibe here. But honestly, I feel like it's missed pretty wildly. I don't like this sauce, flavor-wise. It is not... So this is part of a set. There was a Stranger Things crossover set that came out from Heatonist. And the other two had onions, so I was not ever going to do those. They finally broke up the set. I think last year, 2024. They broke up the set, and this is the only one I was even slightly interested in. And what was kind of funny is that for the earlier part of this year, 2025, I was looking for a mustard that was mislabeled as a hot sauce. This actually is close to that idea. it just, I think they are going just for more of a sort of Caribbean vibe. It's too bitter, and I don't like this flavor combination of the mustard, turmeric, and the other stuff. I don't think it works. Most of the time, I think you have to be super judicious with mustard. Because mustard, to me, points in a lot of fairly specific directions. This has enough components that kind of throws it off for being a mustard I want to eat. And the bitterness that's here is just, it's too much. It's not... Like mustard, to a degree, it has to be something you want to consume. It has to go with stuff. And this is... This is not a very... It just doesn't work for me. So I don't know... It reminds me of a sauce, and I haven't been able to put my finger on it, which I suppose is natural after the bazillions of sauces I've done. So once this video is done, I'm not going to... I'll be binning this. Kind of checking this down. Actually, I have remembered that there is somebody that local to me that I can give some of these sauces for them to try out as well. So actually, I won't be binning it. I'll just be... But I won't be keeping it either. I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever shoved in my face, but I don't know where it's supposed to go. I don't think it's said in this tiny text either. This is just talking about... This is tooting its own horns. I mean, I gave this a 1 for heat. I think that's about right. You know, in Scotch bonnet, I really like that pepper, but for me, its usage in sauces is super hit or miss. A lot of the time, I mean, it's just wildly inconsistent. Which is kind of a shame, I guess, but... I don't understand why. Scotch bonnet is just a delicious pepper for me. And it can be used to super great effect in sauces. If they would have just done this as a straight mustard, it probably would have been fine. You know, throw out the ginger. Which, honestly, I think that's the main problem here. I mean, mango and mustard, turmeric, probably okay together. I think it's the powdered ginger that is just throwing havoc into these flavor notes. Ginger's another thing that I like a lot. But there are very, very few sauces I find it enjoyable in. And that is probably the main issue with this for me as well. So I think whoever came up with this sauce and made it, I think put more work into it with design and kind of what this is going. As far as just a straight across novelty sauce, it does seem more structured than that. Even though it was part of that set, I don't know. I mean, are people collecting Stranger Things stuff? To me, it seems that show is just so streaky and inconsistent with releasing seasons and stuff that I can't imagine that's the case, but maybe. It just... Yeah. Yep. To me, this is not like I made it through the halfway point, and I don't come across them a lot these days, but sauces that I've been entirely and just do a written review on, don't do a video on, are pretty much a rare commodity these days. Sauces I don't finish out all the way, I would say that is the case as well. And now that I have somebody else to kind of give these to when I don't enjoy them to see what their impressions are, I won't be just outright tossing them anymore, but neither will I be keeping them or finishing them. And really, that's better anyway. I would rather, maybe somebody else is going to like it more than me. To me, it's not a very enjoyable sauce, but I would at least rather have that opportunity rather than just having it directly go to waste. That's a part that has always kind of bothered me a little bit about having to bin sauces. So, but we're going to leave it right there for this one. Very odd, I guess I will say, approach to a hot sauce, especially if you think back to the 80s. And what this might have gone on. People might have been interested in the little pinpricks of heat there, but I don't know that anyone would have found this flavor to be especially good at pairing with stuff. So it's a pretty significant miss for me, and I'll just leave there. So that was the Heatonist crossover with Stranger Things Hellfire Club hot sauce. Number 4. In peace. To serve the flame.